here at the today actually over after the last several days of speaking to the Reds. But so more importantly than anything, I wanted to welcome Tucker Barnhart to the organization. I've already talked to him, and we're so excited, elated really to be able to acquire Tucker quickly here in the hot stove season so quickly that really we're, as an organization, my front office, I've been getting text messages. Everybody's very excited that we were able to do this, to get such a fine human being, really, on top of being a great catcher and leader on the field. So my congratulations to and welcome Tucker to the organization, and thanking you guys for joining us on such a short notice. So to the opening of the hot stove season. So welcome.
Thanks, Al. Tucker, if you have a few words.
Well, first of all, thank you. I'm excited as heck to be a part of this. I mean, I've got so much to be thankful for. My time in Cincinnati was phenomenal. They treated me so well, but I'm so excited for what the future is going to bring. I think there's so many cool things that are happening in Detroit with the Tigers, and I'm so excited to be a part of it. So I look forward to it. Again, thank you, Al, and the organization for believing in me and wanting me to be a part of it. So I'm very excited. I'm gonna say that a lot, but I'm very excited.
Awesome, thanks. We'll start the questions with Chris McCoskey from the Detroit News. Yeah, no, he is.
Welcome, Tucker. Welcome to Detroit.
Thank you.
I'm curious, you were such a part of the fabric there in Cincinnati for so long. I wonder what the balance is between, leaving that situation. Maybe you saw the writing on the wall the past year, I'm not sure. And then your excitement, as you say, going forward with this new challenge. Like, have you already been able to say goodbye to the past, kind of look forward, or is it still kind of tugging at you?
Well, it's very new. All of this has happened so fast, like Al said. So I haven't been able to really process it a ton. But the thing I keep going back to is just being thankful for crossing paths with so many great people in my career so far, and obviously there's so many more days and hopefully years to come in my career, and I can't wait for what's ahead. But the Reds drafted me in 2009 when I was 18. And so I've been in an organization, I'll be 31 in January. So for nearly half of my life, I've been around some incredible people and been fortunate enough to cross paths with a lot of very, very great people that it is bittersweet, but it is one of those things where, in my opinion, for me professionally and for my family, personally, this is a wonderful thing for us, and I think the best version of Tucker Barnhart on the baseball field is now and is in the future. And so I'm excited as hell to be a part of this organization, and I really look forward to building on what they've built here so far, and I'm really looking forward to the future.
Just one quick one from me. I know you, like you said, you haven't had time to process a lot of it, but you have played against the Tigers a bit in the last couple of years. What are your impressions? The young pitching staff, obviously, that you're going to be in charge of here going forward. What are some of your early impressions? Thank you.
A lot of young, talented arms, no doubt about it. From playing them last year, it was one of those things where no matter who was out there, you never felt like a sigh of relief by any means. It was always a guy that was coming after you, that was going to make you work and put you on the defensive from pitch one. And I think for me personally, when I think about pitching and calling pitches, whenever you can put a hitter on the defensive from the get-go, you already have the upper hand, in my opinion. So that's the way it felt for me personally, just by facing those guys and watching from the side. So I'm excited to help build on what's already been kind of formed, and just be a part of it moving forward.
Appreciate it. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chris. Next we'll go to Evan Petzold from the Free Press.
Hey, Tucker, welcome to Detroit.
Thank you very much.
Talking to AJ Hinch a lot this year, he talks a lot about, game calling and the art of game calling. How much have you learned about that, over your years, and how excited are you to work with AJ and kind of pick his brain too?
Well, the second part of the question, I'm very excited to work with AJ. I talked to him this morning on the 7th hole of the golf course, so it was fun. I think as a young kid being drafted out of high school, there wasn't really a lot of talking about game calling. It was more of the fundamentals of catching, throwing, blocking, all of that stuff, and those were touched on so much that the game calling part of it or piece of it is kind of pushed to the side. And so I've learned so much in pro ball. I have a lot of credit to give to former catching coaches Mike Stefanski, J.R. House, Derek Johnson. All of our guys that I've worked with in Cincinnati have helped me grow as a game caller, I think, immensely. And there's fundamentals in it, I think, that I've learned that allow like a natural progression from that side of it. So I think, but to me, one of the biggest things that I think about when I think about game calling is because you have to be able to separate yourself from scouting report and feel of the game. I think that's important. And I think they meaning that my past coaches have helped me realize that trust your eyes, you see what you see, those kind of cliche terms. But I'm very excited to work with AJ. He's been around so long, been around the game and been very successful in this game. So just another guy that I look forward to advancing my own personal skills and then obviously help advance our ball club. So I'm really excited.
Great, thank you and welcome. And also I had a question for Al Avila just as well. And when it comes down to this deal and what you guys are trying to do in the offseason, Al, how important was it for you or how good does it feel maybe just to get out in front of things and get a catcher like Tucker and kind of be able to make that first noise here in the offseason?
No, actually, it feels good that we've got this. Last week we finished our meetings in Lakeland with my front office, and as you guys know, because we told you this at our year-end press conference, that obviously we were going to need a catcher. So we actually identified Tucker as one of our top priorities, if not the top priority. And we knew that in order to get a catcher of this quality, of this caliber, we would probably are going to have to do a trade. And so last week I reached out to Nick Kroll, and we started conversations, and it came to fruition this morning.
Thank you.
Thanks, Evan. Next we'll go to John Keating from Valley Sports Detroit.
Hey, Tucker, I'll join everybody else in issuing you a welcome. Have you reached out to the Castellanos and maybe to a lesser degree Suarez about what it's like to be a Tiger?
No, I haven't yet. I plan on doing so. I plan on doing so here in the relative short term. I think we crossed paths, or I played with Justin Wilson too last year a little bit, who spent some time in Detroit, and his wife and my wife have already been talking about the city of Detroit, things to do. So things to do, places to live, obviously. So that's helping. But I will definitely reach out to Nick and to Gino about what it means to be a Tiger. And I'm very thankful and blessed to be a part of this organization. And I look forward to the future.
You're an Indiana guy who went to Cincinnati and now Detroit. Is there something special about baseball in the Midwest? Is that kind of cool?
It is very, very, very cool. I think it speaks to to me, growing up, playing in Indiana, all you heard about was the kids from Texas, or the kids from Florida, or the kids from California. They get to play all year round, and I love when I see Indiana guys, Midwestern guys have success, not only at the pro baseball level, but collegiate level, things like that, just because it kind of always gives you that extra like pat on the back that, hey, we can play here too, kind of thing. So baseball in the Midwest, to me, I hold near and dear to my heart. And I'm a Midwestern guy. I'm a blue collar type player. I will always be that way. I think that's what makes me tick. And so to be a part of a blue collar city in a blue collar part of the country is awesome and very, very special to me.
Who's your football team?
I'm a Colts guy. I'm a Colts fan. So I've been a Colts fan for my entire life. I've been a Pacer fan my entire life as well too. So I believe, John, I believe we have a mutual friend in Kristen Airy. So he told me to tell you hello as well. So I'm excited.
All right. Welcome, man.
Thank you very much.
Next we'll go to Jason Beck from MLB.com.
Hey, Tucker, welcome to Detroit.
Thank you, Jason.
With the way this offseason was for you, did you go in as the World Series was winding down kind of expecting a trade, or were you getting ready for free agency? How much uncertainty was there for you on that regard?
Well, it was very uncertain, to be honest with you. It was one of those things where, I mean, I'd be naive or I'd be lying if I said that I didn't somewhat see this coming. I think it was one of those things where, because I've been on the other side of it as well, where I've been the younger guy and there's been a veteran, and it's just worked itself out, and it's nobody's fault. I'm not trying to push blame on anyone whatsoever. It is just the way that this thing works. It's just the way that this business works, and it's one of those things where I prepared myself for just kind of every avenue that could happen, whether it was a trade, whether it was free agency, or whether it was back in Cincinnati. I feel like that I'm one of those guys, man, that I believe that everything happens for a reason, and I think that being able to be a part of such a great organization is so special. And I was prepared for, like I said, for everything. Didn't try to. We rented a home in Cincinnati for the last 5 years. That was all packed up and brought back here to Indianapolis, and so we kind of prepared ourselves for, like I said, for every avenue that we could have headed down. But I'm glad it's over. I'm glad we didn't go deep into the off season at all, as far as that stuff's concerned. So I'm glad that like I said, I'm glad it's over.
Does having this out of the way quickly afford you time to learn your team? And I would imagine, more importantly for a catcher, learn your new pitching staff and what goes into that you might be able to get done in the off season that if you'd been a free agent and maybe spent the winter looking for a team, you might not be able to do.
There's no doubt about that. I think that the developing relationships from pitchers and catchers, I think is absolutely paramount. I think it allows you to hit the ground running in spring training, in the regular season. Obviously, if you're not able to develop that relationship in spring training or in the off season. So I think being able to reach out to guys, I heard from Casey Mize already today. He welcomed me. Just being able to, at the very least, just connect, say hello, talk about things moving forward, is very important, because it puts you in that situation where you get all the icebreaker type questions and things out of the way, and you're able to talk about baseball and situations that we're going to be in during the season right away. And because spring training, albeit long, it still doesn't feel like enough time for some things. And I would say that those relationships are one of those things. So I'm excited to be able to get this over with and to be able to connect with and learn my teammates right away.
And a question for Al. You had talked a month or so ago about how many needs you guys had going into this offseason and the challenge of addressing them all. By getting this one out of the way so quickly, does this allow you guys a little bit of advantage to focus on some of the other stuff, namely shortstop and pitcher?
Well, today was a busy day. We finalized this deal, and obviously the first day you can go out and talk to agents about players that you're interested in. So it's been an entire day of finalizing this deal and making a lot of phone calls. So yeah, it started already. But it just feels good to be able to get the guy that you identified in your meetings of the guy you want. And so we were very happy and excited to be able to get Tucker. Everything that we came up with was a positive. The leadership skills on the field, the leadership skills in the clubhouse, off the field, you name it. He was tough. That to me is more exciting, is to be able to get the guy that you actually wanted and that you went after. So that's good. And then now we go out and try to accomplish the other needs that we have. And it started today with a bunch of phone calls.
And would you anticipate at this point that, Barnhart and Eric Haas go into the season as your catchers?
Yes, obviously it's a great combination. Tucker hitting from the left side is a great addition. And the combination of him and Haas we were very excited about the potential, not only from the defensive side, but from the offensive side too. So yeah, we're very happy with that.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Jason. Next we'll go to Cody Stavenhagen from The Athletic.
Yeah, I think we all know the catching market isn't always particularly deep, but why was Tucker your number one guy, like you said?
Well, like I mentioned before, one of the things that we prioritized, what we got out of the meetings was we wanted a catcher that can lead our young staff, and he's proven that he can do that. He calls a good game, but it's not just the game calling, but it's the relationship with the player, with the pitchers. And he had that history, he had that experience and reputation of being a good leader for his pitching staff, and that they trusted him. So that made it a priority for us. It's more about the catching, the leadership, the whole package behind the plate in the clubhouse. So all that was what made it a priority for us. On the free agent market every year, that catching market gets tougher every year. And so, we had our fingers crossed because, Tucker really checked off all the boxes of what we wanted, as far as that leadership behind the plate.
All right. I don't know how much you can say on this, but do you view this as kind of a 1-year deal for now, or are you hoping to talk about extending this thing out at all?
Well, I'm not going to get into that right now. Obviously, we just made the deal, and as time goes along, we'll be able to talk about different options. If there is any options out there to be had. So, but I'm not going to get into that at this point.
All right. And then a question for Tucker, just how much do you know about these young pitchers, and how much advanced work can you kind of get to do in terms of knowing their arsenal, or how much of that just has to wait until spring training when you're able to be around them and catch them?
Well, my knowledge isn't very high. So as we sit here today, but that'll change. But like I said earlier, I think it's important to start to develop relationships as quickly as possible. So when you do get to spring training, you can hit the ground running. So as far as getting into the advanced pitching side of it from a scouting report part of it, it's probably going to have to wait a little bit. However, I think being able to develop a relationship, talk about how guys like to do certain things, what they like to see, what they like to hear when we're out on the mound or I'm behind the plate, I think is very important. And you can do that during an off season like this. And so when you get to spring training, it's more about learning a guy and his arsenal instead of having to talk about those conversations first and then get into it. And then at that point, you butt up until the end of spring training when we got to focus on winning ball games instead of developing relationships. So I think it's important to do it now in the off season, and there are some things that we can definitely do for sure.
All right. Time for a few more. Next we'll go to Chris Nikoski from the Detroit News.
Yeah, just real quick with Tucker, half kidding, but you're coming to a team that your number's already on the wall. It's already been retired, man. So that worked out good for you.
No doubt.
You have to come up with something different.
I know it. I don't know what I just want to have a jersey in my locker, man. I don't care if it's 99. I don't care if it's -9. It doesn't matter. Just give me something.
Yeah, thanks. Hey, Al, I just another kind of housekeeping thing. I'm not clear on what the rules are for your 40 man. Do you have until like the 19th or something before you have to post a 40 man? Do you have to make a corresponding move for Tucker?
Well, no, I mean, today, I think it was Holland, Tehran, Peralta, and Oreno became free agents today.
Right.
And so, no, we're good as far as the 40 man at this point.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Next we'll go to Trent Rosecrans.
Hey, Tuck. Sorry, Detroit guys. I have a Cincinnati question. what, through this year, you saw some of this writing on the wall, and a lot of that was because of Tyler Stephenson. What did you see from Tyler and how he grew really kind of behind the plate and kind of moving forward, being ready to take that spot that you were in, where you start 100 games or so behind the plate a year?
Well, I think, for me, his play on the field spoke for itself. I think that was clear. But he's such a good kid, such a fun guy to be around, and he wants to get better every single day. I think the most impressive part for me was how well he handled the pitchers. Obviously there are going to be growing pains, and there were some, but they were small, and it seemed to me in the respect of all the pitchers very fast, and being able to make mound visits at certain points, being able to have conversations, being able to have tough conversations with pitchers at times. It seemed to me that he had that all under control. And it felt like to me, and I think that's a really good word for him with the way he plays the game. It seems to me that he plays it very controlled. And it's, in my opinion, one of the bigger compliments I could give a guy, especially a younger guy, is because there's so many times, so many situations and scenarios, myself included, that I think back about where I feel like I was out of control in that certain situation. And it seemed like to me that he didn't let situations get bigger than him or speed him up. And I think that to me is one of the biggest positives moving forward for sure.
Thanks, man. And I'm jealous of all the Tiger riders.
We'll do two more. Evan Petzold.
Yeah, just another quick follow-up for you, Al. Curious with, this signing and this deal or this trade, what does it kind of mean for a guy like Jake Rogers, who was injured, and Dylan Dingler, who obviously you guys are looking to develop? I mean, how does a deal like this maybe help with some of that long-term sustainability that you want? Is it mentoring, or is there something else there?
Well, actually, we're still very high on Jake. He's really, I think he mentioned it the other day. He said, "I'm crushing rehab." So I know he's going to come back stronger and better than ever. And at least that's what our hope is. And if we can get him back at some point, at the latter part of next year, that'll be great. I think having Tucker with Hossie and Jake and Dingler coming through the minor league ranks is really good. It gives us a little bit of catching depth. And it gives us experience. It gives us a little youth, and we have a future and a little bit of depth. So we're still very excited about that. Obviously the addition of Tucker is big, but Jake coming back next year at some point, it's also going to be big for us as we move forward. So that whole process hopefully comes together in a positive manner and puts us in a really strong position behind the plate.
All right, great. Thanks again.
Okay, we'll wrap it up with Jason Beck.
Hey, Al, just to follow up, you guys have been fairly patient on the market the past few years. With this move and with some of the other stuff, being able to reach out to free agents, and frankly, with some of the uncertainty of the CBA, do you sense any potential to move maybe a little bit more quickly this winter, either on your own volition or because the market moves faster?
Well, I don't think we're looking at anything different. We've held our meetings this year at the same time we've been holding our meetings for the past 21 years that I've been here. So that didn't change. The way that we prioritize our needs hasn't changed. The biggest difference is that we're not trying to trade, veteran players and rebuilding anymore. Now we're trying to build a winning team going into 2022, which is a big difference from the last few years. So the time frame really is no different. Because we made this trade today doesn't mean that. And I think I get a compliment from one of you guys. Oh, you're really being aggressive this year. Well, No, it just happened to come about sooner than later. And because both teams were in a position to be able to make this trade. So, no, so I wouldn't say there's anything different. If we have a deal to be made, next week, great. And if it comes later, then it comes later. So, deals come together at different times for different reasons. So, so we're approaching it pretty much the same way. We're trying to put the best team on the field. And if we can make a deal, next week, we will. And if we have to wait, we wait.
Great, thank you.
Awesome. Thanks everyone for hopping on today. Tucker, welcome. I know everyone's looking forward to working with you, and we'll thanks Al, and we'll see everyone soon.
All right,
All right.
guys. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.